The absolute disrespect. The sheer audacity. What we witnessed on Monday Night Raw wasn't just an attack, it was a calculated assassination attempt on the most dominant force WWE has ever seen. Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker didn't just cross a line, they obliterated it, and I'm about to expose exactly why this attack on Brock Lesnar represents everything wrong with today's WWE landscape. But before we dive into this travesty, let me ask you something: when did it become acceptable for two wrestlers to gang up on a legend like pack animals? When did we decide that respecting greatness was optional? Because what happened to Brock Lesnar was nothing short of a disgrace, and if you disagree, you're part of the problem. The Beast incarnate was standing in that ring, commanding respect as he always has, when these two wannabes decided to make their mark by jumping a man who's accomplished more in his career than they'll achieve in their entire lifetimes combined. Reed and Breakker thought they could take shortcuts to relevance by attacking someone who's been carrying this company on his back for over 2 decades. Let's talk about Bronson Reed first, this mountain of mediocrity who thinks his size gives him the right to blindside legends. Reed has been floating around WWE's mid-card for months, desperately searching for any storyline that might elevate him beyond opening match status. So what does he do? He takes the coward's way out and attacks Brock Lesnar from behind like some common thug. This is supposed to be a professional athlete, not a street criminal. And don't even get me started on Bron Breakker, the so-called next big thing who apparently learned nothing from his family's legacy about earning respect the right way. His father and uncle, the legendary Steiner brothers, built their reputation through hard work and legitimate victories, not cheap shots and gang warfare. Bron has disgraced the Steiner name with this pathetic display of cowardice. The attack itself was absolutely sickening to watch. While Lesnar was cutting his promo, delivering the intensity that only the Beast can provide, Reed came charging from the crowd like a rabid animal. The blindside tackle sent Lesnar crashing into the barricade, but that was just the beginning of this orchestrated assault. Before Brock could even regain his bearings, Breakker emerged from the opposite side, completing their planned ambush. What followed was 6 minutes of pure brutality that had no place in a wrestling ring. Reed's tsunami splash from the top rope onto Lesnar through the announce table was reckless endangerment, not professional wrestling. The sickening crash of wood and metal, the way Brock's body contorted on impact, this wasn't entertainment, it was attempted murder broadcast on live television. But Breakker wasn't finished. As if Reed's destruction wasn't enough, the second-generation superstar decided to add his own exclamation point with a spear so vicious it left Lesnar motionless on the arena floor. The crowd fell silent as medical personnel rushed to check on the Beast, and you could see the concern in everyone's eyes. This wasn't the competitive spirit WWE was built on, this was malicious intent disguised as sports entertainment. The most infuriating part of this entire situation is how creative has been booking these attacks. They're rewarding cowardice and presenting it as legitimate competition. When did WWE decide that gang warfare was an acceptable substitute for actual wrestling skill? These two combined don't have half the athletic ability that Brock Lesnar possesses in his pinky finger, yet they're being positioned as legitimate threats through cheap tactics. Lesnar has faced and defeated every monster WWE has thrown at him: The Undertaker, Goldberg, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, legends who had the courage to face him one-on-one in fair competition. But Reed and Breakker? They hide behind numbers because they know they couldn't last 30 seconds against the Beast in a legitimate contest. The timing of this attack is particularly suspect. Lesnar was building momentum for what many believed would be another championship run, and suddenly these two decide to eliminate the competition through underhanded tactics. It's no coincidence that this happened just weeks before a major pay-per-view event. They're trying to steal opportunities that rightfully belong to wrestlers who've earned their spots through legitimate victories. What makes this even more disgusting is the lack of consequences. Where was WWE management? Where was Triple H when his biggest star was being assaulted by these bottom feeders? The complete absence of authority figures during this attack sends a dangerous message that violence without consequences is acceptable in WWE programming. Reed and Breakker are setting a precedent that will destroy the integrity of professional wrestling. If you can advance your career by jumping legends from behind, why bother developing actual wrestling skills? Why spend years perfecting your craft when you can take shortcuts through gang tactics? This mentality will be the death of everything that makes WWE special. The medical update on Lesnar's condition has been intentionally vague, which only adds to the severity of what these two perpetrated. Sources close to the situation report potential injuries to his ribs and lower back, direct results of that devastating tsunami splash. When your actions require legitimate medical attention, you've crossed the line from entertainment to assault. But here's what really makes my blood boil: the social media reaction. Instead of condemning this cowardly attack, segments of the WWE Universe are actually celebrating Reed and Breakker for making an impact. Are you kidding me? Since when do we celebrate criminals for attacking innocent victims? Because that's exactly what happened. Two criminals assaulted an innocent man on live television. This attack represents everything wrong with modern wrestling culture. We've become so desensitized to violence that we can't distinguish between legitimate competition and criminal behavior. Reed and Breakker aren't revolutionaries or trailblazers, they're thugs who took advantage of a respected veteran's trust and professional courtesy. The most heartbreaking aspect of this situation is what it means for Lesnar's legacy. Here's a man who's given everything to this business: NCAA championships, UFC titles, multiple WWE championships, headlining countless WrestleManias, and this is how he's repaid? By being blindsided by two individuals who haven't earned the right to share the same ring with him? Lesnar's impact on WWE cannot be overstated. He's legitimized sports entertainment through his genuine athletic credentials, brought mainstream attention to the product, and elevated every opponent he's faced through his mere presence. His matches are events, his appearances are must-see television, and his legacy is untouchable. Yet Reed and Breakker think they can build their careers on his broken body. The psychological impact of this attack extends beyond physical damage. Lesnar has always been presented as an unstoppable force, the final boss that every challenger must eventually face. Reed and Breakker have attempted to shatter that mystique through coordinated violence, cheapening years of careful character development for their own selfish gain. WWE's response to this incident will define the company's direction moving forward. Will they reward this behavior by giving Reed and Breakker high-profile matches and storylines? Or will they send a clear message that attacking legends won't be tolerated? The wrestling world is watching, and their decision will have lasting consequences. The fan reaction has been equally disappointing. Instead of demanding justice for Lesnar, too many are treating this like just another storyline twist. This normalization of violence against respected veterans is exactly why wrestling has lost so much of its credibility with mainstream audiences. We're teaching an entire generation that might makes right, regardless of ethics or sportsmanship. What's next for Brock Lesnar? Will he return seeking vengeance, or will this attack end his career prematurely? The uncertainty surrounding his future is entirely the fault of Reed and Breakker's reckless actions. They've potentially robbed the WWE Universe of years of additional entertainment from one of the greatest performers in company history. This attack wasn't just against Brock Lesnar, it was against everything WWE stands for. The tradition, the respect, the earned opportunities through legitimate competition, all sacrificed for a moment of cheap heat. Reed and Breakker have shown their true colors, and those colors are yellow. The wrestling business has always been built on respect: respect for your opponents, respect for the business, and respect for those who paved the way. Reed and Breakker have shown they possess none of these qualities. They're parasites feeding off Lesnar's reputation to mask their own inadequacies. Moving forward, every WWE fan needs to remember this moment. Remember how Reed and Breakker chose cowardice over courage, shortcuts over skill, and criminal behavior over competition. Because this is who they really are beneath the manufactured personas and scripted promos. The beast incarnate deserved better. WWE deserved better. And most importantly, the fans deserved better than watching two talentless individuals attempt to end the career of a legitimate legend through gang warfare tactics that have no place in professional wrestling. This attack will be remembered as one of the most disgraceful moments in WWE history, and Reed and Breakker will forever be known as the cowards who tried to build their careers on Brock Lesnar's broken body. That's their legacy now, and no amount of future success will ever wash away the stain of what they did on that Monday night. The question isn't whether Lesnar will recover, the beast always does. The question is whether Reed and Breakker will ever recover from the reputation damage of being exposed as the cowards they truly are.